I loved Wonder Woman. I loved the plan that we had for how we were going to make Wonder Woman. I did feel like I was the right director. There could have been a lot of right directors, but I felt like I was one of them. If this is truly a movie about this lead woman who's a great hero, we need to approach her as universal. It's not about she's not about being a woman any more than Superman is about gender issues of being a man. Superman is saving the world. And like that felt very important to me, and I felt like I possibly felt emboldened to do that more so because I was also a woman. And it's easy for me to say, I want to watch a movie about a superhero, as big of a superhero saving the world as any. And so she those things can happen on the side, but she can't be about that. She has to be in the big game like everybody. And so I think that was something that I felt able to do in a way that other people might have felt less confident doing. Yeah. I definitely thought, well, this is as good as the group to try could be. This environment is as good as it can get to try. So we have to try. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do, and I believe in a way to do it that could be great. So let's try. But definitely aware of first and foremost, that it was her first and only film. More than anything, more than being a woman director. That's all way secondary. In this case, I was like, woof, no, everybody's always wanted to make Wonder Woman and she's never gotten her day in court. She's got to get a film fit for how great she is. That was the first and foremost. Second of all, was that it be a success for all, because that's the kind of film a tentpole needs to be. Not because I think a woman has to do it, even though that was peripherally a great thing. Not that, a woman has to have a tentpole movie, but it has to be a great success for all. And why not have a great success for all that stars a woman? We've seen from things like The Hunger Games that there's no reason that can't be. And then definitely down the line, and I became more aware of it as we were finishing, it sobered into, this is going to be a big deal for what it stands for women, for Wonder Woman, for women leads, for women directors. I really hope for the best for all of those reasons. Once it was out of my hands, it was much scarier. I've been working literally in film since I was 18. So I actually have seniority on set to a lot of people who are directors taking on things like this. So I don't feel like, I don't focus on the female aspect of it always. I think it's like, directors get tested and departments test people of what they know and what they don't know. And anytime you're doing something that the perception is you're the newcomer, which I was, it's something you have to do. You have to go through many steps with the people that you're working with. And we ended up having an amazing crew, and I ended up feeling very supported. But there are certainly, there's certainly things that could be called mansplaining that people do. You definitely become aware that you're making a movie and you're doing a thing, and you can't take on every issue that women have ever suffered throughout history and every diverse group within the world and be suddenly responsible for giving them their day in court. We need 1,000 movies to tell those stories. And so we could do our best to do a great superhero story, and that would be the victory, and all of these other things would hopefully come within it. But yeah, you can only, there's an interesting thing that I've noticed, and I could be wrong, but I feel like with all of the male-led tentpole movies, they're received as what they are, but then, a film like this suddenly, there's a lot of scrutiny that it should represent every single thing in the world. And you're like, but it can't do that any more than any film can. It can only be the greatest. I mean, listen, we were treated in a wonderful way by everybody, knock on wood, for the most part. So I didn't feel that way. I just see it with other female leads, where it's like, well, they can't represent every aspect of the handicapped, the elderly, the ethnically, like they can't take on it. They're just trying to be a great movie. They can't become responsible for every other thing in the world. The funniest thing to me was we made the movie. I felt pretty mentally sane the entire time we're making the movie. Like, okay, it is what it is. Got to just put one foot in front of the other. We knew what this was going to be, and it is. But when the movie was done and I returned to Los Angeles, I have to admit I fell into a little bit of a depression, because it was out of my hands now and it could go so badly. And And it seemed like it easily could, no matter what you did. I've seen great films get taken down. I've seen people get taken down. And I remember really thinking like, oh, God, to give everything you have to a movie for such a long period of time, what a heartbreak to just be sitting here, and not know what will happen with it, and feel sure that, that because it's a superhero movie, you're always going to get some amount of criticism. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a hard ride. But I was absolutely shocked when the reviews came in, that I was like, oh, so grateful that it was so positive. And that also people were talking about the movie we had made. They were seeing the movie we had made, not the version of the movie they wish we'd made, or what they thought Wonder Woman should be that she wasn't, or whatever. It was the moment the reviews came in that I was like, no matter what happens ahead, these people are talking about having seen the movie we tried to make. So they saw it. Somebody saw it. Somebody acknowledged it. And then as it started to succeed, it was, amazing. It was funny, when the night that the reviews came in, I couldn't handle it. And so everybody knew that it was going to break at like 9 o'clock. And I was like, no, I can't. And I went and I laid down in my bed. I was like, I don't even want to know. I can't. I just want to go on vacation. I don't want to know. And then the phone started ringing, and I looked at it. I'd been with Gal all day that day as we were like in the pool, like preparing ourselves for the day. And I looked at the phone 10 minutes later, and it was Gal. And I was like, they're good. Because she wouldn't be calling me if they were bad. The first thing Gal wouldn't do is not call me to tell me, how about that? Like, she'd be off reeling on her own. And so I was like, hello? And I made Gal tell me.